And you have a quote from Augustine here,
Yes.
which I'll go ahead and read and let you
Yeah.
talk about here. But he says, "The law leads to knowledge of sin, and at length to the transgression of the law itself. It is thus with the knowledge and increase of sin that grace may be sought through faith."
Yeah. Yeah. So what Augustine's getting at here, and again, no surprise that this is coming from Augustine, who would go on to influence Luther and becomes incredibly important in his thought for how we talk about sin and grace and justification. And so what Augustine's saying, here, and this is, again, just echoes, this is drawing directly on the thought of Paul in both Romans and Galatians, that what the law does is the law enters in and it grants clarity to that reality of the curse.
Yeah.
Right. Is that, like, again, we've kind of unpacked that, it's like, regardless of the standard, regardless of, the times, regardless of the culture, it seems like it's universal that human beings fall short of the standard, right? And what the law does is the law enters in and it really reveals, kind of like, it illuminates that reality, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, maybe everyone has this sense that something's amiss. The law enters in and is like, it smacks you in the face,
Yeah.
right? It's like, oh, things might actually be worse than I thought, right? It might be a little bit worse off than just a Po Buddies Nerfect kind of situation, right? And so it enters in not to say, all right, here's the standard you need to meet, right? Right? Like this is, here's the measure, like, meet that demand. It enters in to reveal that reality so that that knowledge of sin would increase and that we might seek after grace, right? That the law really reveals humanity's need for rescue.
Yeah. There's no purpose of grace or the gospel without the law. Like,
Right, right.
It'd just be pointless.
Right. Yeah. If the notion of, like, human perfection were possible, right? Why the cross, right? And so the law really reveals humanity's need for the cross, right? The need for someone to rescue us from ourselves and to rescue us from the power of evil, to rescue us from the reality of just judgment, right? That the law reveals that reality and that need, so that we might begin to see that God has, right, because he's so gracious, because he's so merciful, has already stepped in to meet that need in and through Jesus.